Go! Friday edition of the show. All across America on SportsMap Radio. That's what that music means. All over the world on the SportsMap Radio app. Good to be with you on a Friday. I'm not always here on Fridays during when we're out of football season. I'm trying to take some Fridays off here and there, just to because I sort of make. I mean, at the end of the day, I sort of make my own schedule. Those are the perks of owning your own show, and so I've been trying to take Fridays off here and there. I think in the month of May, I'm going to take Mondays off for the entire month of May. I think that's what I'm going to do for May. That okay with you, Brian? Nah, I didn't think you would. You sound like you're dead, dude. Are you all right? Sick? You've contracted the Ebola that was going around your house? Is that what you're saying? Oh, God. Far enough, thankfully. I don't want any of what you got, man. Nope, I don't want your Ebola. I'll pass. I've had enough going. I'm sure you've heard. Last week I had a stomach virus. I had a 24-hour stomach virus that killed me. I mean, the worst I've ever had. I lost 5 pounds in 24 hours. That's how. 5 pounds in 24 hours. Yeah. So, yeah. I lost 5 pounds in 24 hours. Then, so that wasn't fun. And then I had, after that, I had a gout flare up yesterday, not yesterday, Tuesday morning, I woke up with a gout flare up where I literally could not walk. I mean, my right ankle looked like it was twice the size of my left ankle. So I couldn't walk. So I've been going through it too. I feel you. The telephone number, if you want to be a part of the show tonight, it's Friday. 1-800-224-2004, 800-224-2004. You want to text us? How about 888-670-8549? What should we give away tonight, Brian? What should we give away tonight? I see the problem. Well, I got to sign basketball. I've been kind of vacillating on whether or not I'd want to part ways with my Patrick Ewing autographed basketball. I mean, that's a big give. Like, that should be a grand prize giveaway for something. Yeah. So exactly. Yeah. So I'm a bit reticent to give away, something like that. I do have some basketball stuff. Nothing great, though. I've got some good rookies. I don't know what to give away because I want to do a text giveaway tonight. The text line is 888-670-8549. 888-670-8549. Could do like box 1, box 2, box 3. Could do something like that. I don't know. I got to think about it. Some. So here's the text question of the night. And this is how you participate in the contest. You don't even know what you're winning yet, but I'm going to figure it out at some point during the show. The text question of the night is, of the first round NBA playoff series, tell me which series you feel there'll be an upset in. So obviously there will be 8 series. So you got 8 choices. You don't have to be right or wrong. I just want to know what you guys think. So tell me, and if you participate in tonight's text sort of survey, one person's going to win something at the end of the show tonight. I just don't know what to give away. I've got so many. The problem is I got a lot of baseball stuff. That's the problem. Giving away the Ewing, we'd have to hit a huge number. I can't give away the Ewing autographed basketball yet. I can't do it. I got a cool autographed football with a whole bunch of guys from from Indomitian Sue and a bunch of different guys from Walter Camp from about 15 years ago, but I don't feel like giving that away. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. Anyway, yeah, well, I mean, it's Matt Schaub. That dude. Yeah, Matt Schaub made way more money than Matt Schaub should have ever made. So if he had to deal with a kick in the south of the equator, that I don't. My sympathy quotient is nil. Yeah, put some respect on that name. I don't think so. So I watched the Heat tonight, and it's amazing what a difference just a few days can make. Because this team looked like it was completely lethargic, didn't look inspired at all in their loss to Atlanta on, Tuesday night? And then they come out tonight, and the intensity is there. The fire's there. Jimmy Butler showed up. Max Struss hits a bunch of threes. And I'll tell you right now, Milwaukee didn't want to see that team. No, Milwaukee did not want to see Miami in the first round. There's history there. I mean, look, Milwaukee's going to win. Don't get me wrong. And I'll do my picks in the second hour of the show tonight. Or maybe I'll do them in the third hour. Yeah, you know what I'll do? It's start the third hour. Start of the third hour, I'll give you my first round NBA playoff predictions. But these will be official Pages picks. We haven't done Pages picks in a long time. Yeah, this will be an official. Thank you. You all right? No. Can we find like the NBA theme music, like the NBA on NBC? Like da 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 da. Because if not, I could always find it on my end too and play it. It's fine. I don't know if John Tesh would approve of that. Just saying. So we'll do that start of the third hour tonight. I'll give you my NBA playoff, my NBA round one playoff predictions. Milwaukee does not want to see Miami. Like I said, there's history there. Miami handled them last year or a couple of years ago in the bubble. Milwaukee handled them en route to an NBA championship, and now they'll square off again. I guess you can call it the rubber match. So we'll see what happens between those two teams in the opening round of the postseason. History has been thwarted tonight. I told you it would be. This is why you have to listen to the show. I told you to go out and place money on the Toronto Blue Jays. If you did, you probably made some cash tonight. If you listened to Brian McDonald, then you'd be about as useful as old McDonald. Nah, I mean, I'm just saying, if you listen to me, you made money. If you listen to Brian, you're living under a bridge. Exactly. Actually, we had somebody texted the other night when I did the night of the Lakers win over the T-Wolves. I literally spent the entire game telling people, I don't care what the score is, keep live betting the Lakers. Like I must have said it 15 times. When it was Lakers minus 2.5, Lakers minus 1.5, when Lakers plus 4.5 when they were down 16. I kept telling the audience, just hammer the Lakers. They are going to win this game. And somebody texted the next night and said, I took them 3 times based on what you said, and I won all 3. See? It's a success story. You know, it's like the Hair Club for Men commercials when they show the before and after. It's like the Hair Club for Men commercial with Cy Sperling when they show the before and after. Hey, you listen, you win. You don't listen, you don't win. Acknowledge me. Exactly. Yeah, that's about right. So anyway, we've got the second game going on right now between the Timberwolves. Sorry, I got distracted by something behind me. It felt like a bug flying to the back of my head there. T-Wolves and the Thunder playing the second game. And we'll see what happens there. Anthony Edwards better be better than he was against the Lakers, otherwise they got no shot. I don't care if Rudy Gobert is playing or not. Anthony Edwards was 3 for 17 in that loss against the Lakers. I mean, just show up, dude. And every time, Kurt Heelan was on the show the other night, he said, every time I talk up Anthony Edwards, he stinks. I hope he didn't talk him up tonight. T-Wolves fans certainly don't want to hear it. So we'll be keeping tabs on that game tonight in baseball as well. We'll give you updates on what's going on there. The Yankees lost again tonight. Bullpen just killed them. Ugh. I'm sorry. I know it's early season baseball and nobody cares, but I'm a Yankee fan. When they go out, they get out to a 2-0 lead, back-to-back home runs to start the game. Anthony Volpe hit his first of what will hopefully be more than a few in his big league career. Aaron Judge hit another one. Giancarlo Stanton hit one, but the Yankees lost 4-3. It doesn't really matter. Bullpen just choked it up. But the Tampa Bay Rays attempted history came up short tonight. They lose in Toronto 6-3. Jays got out to an early lead in that game. They don't look back. We're going to talk baseball in this hour. Bob Nightingale, our friend from USA Today, their senior national MLB writer. I talked to him before the show tonight and before the Rays game went final. So we'll get into it with him on a host of MLB issues, including expansion. We're coming back. Live lines to get to next. Yeah, you sound awful, dude. Poor thing. Yeah, man. It sucks. And you just infected everybody else that steps into that room for the next, 3 days. Congratulations. It's like a bio-terror threat. Old MacDonald had a farm. E-I-E-I-O. He is the 2-for-1. It's not 2 segments. It's a segment, and I'm going to bring him back for one more question because the interview went 14 minutes. So I'll stop it at 9:50 and then just continue it on the other side, which is fine. Oh. 3 ball. And the interview with Nightingale is actually a video interview because I wanted to try and use some of it for my practice show. Yeah, just for a practice show. But I actually did this right here in the living room. I didn't go into a studio or anything. Thank you for being with us. Bob Nightingale, senior MLB writer at USA Today, is coming up. It's Friday night. And if you're listening to us, then you know what? Bless your heart. It means you have nothing going on a Friday night. And listen, part of the reason when I take Fridays off, I'm not stupid. No, not at all. I didn't. That doesn't make somebody a loser if they have nothing to do on a Friday night. What kind of insinuation is that? I don't think it's implying anything. I think you're trying to stir up trouble, you little troublemaker. No, I think that's the only thing you're doing. I said, bless your heart if on a Friday night you're listening to this radio show, because research shows. I once had lunch with Colin Coward at the Fox, not Fox Sports campus, but the actual Fox campus, because he's right on the lot where they like have TV sets and everything. And so he's not at like Fox Sports Radio or anything like that. Oh my God, I talked about the competition. Yeah, you know it exists. So anyway, I was having lunch with him one day, and he said if I had it my way, he was like, if I had a say in it, he goes, I would just work Monday through Thursday because radio listenership on Friday just isn't there. And it's true. You can look at the numbers. On Fridays, people do not listen in the numbers that they listen Monday through Thursday. That's just the reality. So, especially on a Friday night, because I mean, look, it's 10 p.m. You're out partying on the East Coast right now. And if you're on the West Coast, you're going to be partying in a couple hours. So, in Palm Springs, most of the people that live here are already asleep. 7 o'clock at night. Now those I am making fun of. It's a very geriatric group here. But Coachella's in town this week and next week. So we got Coachella here, which is, the fairgrounds, the polo grounds where they have Coachella, which is one of the biggest music festivals in the world, which is then followed by Stagecoach. You like country music, Brian? Okay. Well, anyway, there is... all right. You hear what I'm dealing with? This is why I need a studio. I've got a dog in the background barking. That's why I need a studio. So anyway, they have Coachella for the next 2 weeks, and then Stagecoach for the week after that. So for 3 weeks straight, it's nothing but teeny boppers with barely any clothing on. Yes, Coachella is here. Yeah, Coachella is Coachella is like 20 minutes from Palm Springs. So all the Coachella queens going out to that thing. And see, I could say that as a gay man. I could say that. Yeah. It's like a black person saying the N-word. I can absolutely call them Coachella. Yes, I could call them the Coachella queens that are out here in their like mesh t-shirts and, half shirts, and women walking around wearing things that they have no right wearing. It's just, it's bad. It's a bad scene. For 2 weeks, it's just, I really should just walk around surreptitiously like filming, just so people could see the type of people that walk around here during Coachella. Oh, yeah. Blondie's playing tonight. That would be cool to see. Absolutely. No, there's some good... Yeah, no, there's some good stuff that's definitely out there. But you wouldn't catch me dead at Coachella, because I have an aversion. I don't know if I've ever discussed this on the air. I have an aversion to large crowds. The older I get, the more freaked out I am being in large, like, crowded situations. Anything. I'll go. If I'm in a press box setting, that doesn't bother me too much. Or if I'm close to the field, or close to the court, I don't mind, because then I've got something in front of me and it feels like it's a little more open. But if you put me in, like, if you told me, hey, I'll give you free tickets middle of the bleachers at Dodger Stadium or Yankee Stadium, I forget it. I wouldn't go. You wouldn't catch me dead. No. Stampede, I'll get trampled. I'll be dead. It's all over. Yeah. Can't do it. Nope. So for me, it's just... I'm just not comfortable. And with all the mass shootings and stuff like that, I'm the type of person, like if I go to a restaurant or a club, I always have to be seated in a spot where I could see where the sniper's coming from. I got to be able to see it in advance. Like my head's on a swivel. I always listen. Not just that. I always make sure I know where every exit is. Like, how am I getting out in the event of the bleep hitting the fan? Yeah, no, can't do it, dude. I can't do it. I was in a movie theater the night. Remember the Colorado shooting at the screen? There was a screening of Dark Knight. I was at the same time that happened. I was at a movie theater just outside Amherst, Massachusetts, where UMass is, which is where my husband graduated, got his master's from UMass. And we were in the movie theater. And when we got out of the theater, we got the alert on the thing that in Colorado there had been this shooting inside the movie. And I'm like, oh my God. And we were just at the same, watching the same movie. It could have just been us. And ever since then, I've always been like, no, nope, can't do it. Can't do it. That's why, like, we're looking at places to move, and I'm not going to talk about where we're moving yet or anything like that. But we've looked at places to move, and we're not, no joke. We look at what are the gun laws in certain states before we go. Like, we won't move to. I'm sorry, we will not move to an open carry state. Won't do it. Like Arizona's open carry. I can't move to. I'm not going to move to Arizona. It's either that or I move to an open carry state and it means I'm carrying. And there ain't nobody in America that wants me carrying. I got news for you. If you've ever heard me, nope, you don't want me carrying. Nope. My shaky hand. You don't want me open carrying. I'd be the guy that I'd be like Plexico Burris and shoot myself in the foot or something like that. Yeah, no, I'm telling you, nope. So, like, when we're looking at where we may go and stuff like that, we look at all these things. So there's just can't. I like being on the coasts. I'd have to be on one coast or the other. I can't live in the middle. And it's no offense to people who live in the heartland, middle of the country, or what people call flyover country. I can't do it. I can't live. Don't get me wrong. I would love to have a place like that I could go for a month and like write a book if I wanted to, write a screenplay. No, but I had an early 1998, I had a radio job in Rugby, North Dakota. True story. I was 20 years old. Here's how long ago it was. Well, yeah, absolutely. You know. I got news for you. Here's how long ago it was. I was 20, living in Rugby, North Dakota, and I was engaged to a woman. It's just a little. There's been a little change. So we lived in a town. You can go look it up. Rugby, North Dakota is the geographical center of North America. That's their claim to fame. It's got no joke, it's the geographical center of North America. Think about North America, Canada, United States, just a little geography lesson here. Yeah, they've got a huge statue there to commemorate the fact that this is the geographical center of North America. Can I tell you something? There's a bowling alley in town. It has 4 lanes. 4 lanes. It's true. That's what rich people have. You're exactly right. That's how small the town was. But I have to tell you, if you told me I could have a home there and be able to go up there for a month every year, sign me up. It's so peaceful and relaxing. Nearest McDonald's is an hour away in Minot, North Dakota. No, they still have all that stuff. There's like 17 Starbucks here in Palm Springs. Are you kidding? No, they're not anti-chains. Yeah. Well, Chick-fil-A, because this area is so liberal, they did everything they could to keep them out of here forever, because Chick-fil-A is owned by people that aren't necessarily the friendliest to gay people, and I live in a town that's filled with gay people. All right, we'll come back. We'll update you on what's going on with the T-Wolves and Thunder. It's early. You don't need to know. We're coming back. I tell you a funny story. North Dakota. The funny thing about North Dakota, I was just starting to kind of experiment a little. Well, I was experimenting a lot with my sexuality at that point and figuring out, who I am, what I like. And I remember going into like these gay chat rooms in North Dakota, and there'd be like 3 people in the whole state that were in the chat room. 98. Oh yeah, absolutely. 98 AOL. ND. It was NDM for M. Yes. True story. Yep. It's pretty much. But North Dakota was really cool. I did play-by-play for American Legion baseball. I anchored sports updates on the morning news. Yeah. Huh? Yes. Dude, there's nothing else up there. Minot is the closest. Yeah. They have a place up there called the Minot Dome, which is kind of cool. I went and saw a game there, which is kind of neat. They used to have minor league baseball team there called the Minot Mallards, which was about an hour away. I was there for about 6 months, and I was like, fuck this. Yeah. Something like that. No, actually, it wasn't. It was spring and summer. I was there spring and summer. Now. Ethan's pre-taped. You taking NyQuil or something? I feel bad, dude. It sucks. It's at least you don't have to host a show for 3 hours. What? What are you talking about? On the local? Oh, that's awesome. I didn't know that. How did you not tell me this? And why haven't you invited me on yet? Oh my God, what a shot by Cat. Oh my God. Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's fair. Yeah, that's fine. If you ever want me, feel free. Yeah. Anytime, dude. That's cool. That's probably every day, though. So there's never a shortage of those. Let's see here. So this is ready. Continuing on this Friday edition of the show, and always happy to bring in our friend Bob Nightingale. Does a great job. Continuing on this Friday edition of the show, and always happy to bring in our friend Bob Nightingale. Does a great job with USA Today, senior MLB writer. All right, Bob, start with the Rays. 13-0 start to the season in Toronto for a weekend series. This amazing beginning to 2023, how much of this is the schedule and how much of this is just the Rays being this good?
I think the Rays be beating anybody now. It doesn't matter, what the schedule looks like. Hey, everybody's a major league team. You got to beat up those teams. So even with the schedule, you would say, okay, if they got off to an 8-5 start, that's a great start. Nobody's thinking 13-0. They're not just winning by flukes. I mean, they're just trouncing people. I think the average difference in their scores are 6.5 runs. They've outscored the opposition 101-30. Just mind-boggling what they're doing.
Yeah, it certainly is. And they didn't really change much in the offseason. I mean, Franco's finally, fully healthy, and they hope to have him for a full campaign. I mean, other than maybe Zach Elfin, I mean, what have they really added from last year that accounts for this sort of thing? Because, in the past years, it's been relying on their pitching. This year, you look up and down the lineup so far through the first 13 games, this team's hitting.
Yeah, I mean they're healthy. They got another year of experience and all that. They had got banged up in rotation with Jeffrey Springs going down, Zach Eflin going down, but still, I mean they don't have to rely on those openers anymore. That rotation is that good and that solid. Scouts raved about them this spring, saying, "Watch out, this might be the best race team that they've ever had down there."
That's just amazing. Could I go to the other extreme for a second? There's a chance that the A's could win less than 50 games this year. I mean, they're scary bad. Not sure what Rob Manfred and MLB can do. The team won't spend money, even though records show them making a profit, even in Oakland. What's the answer for the A's? Is it simply a new home, or is it something bigger than that?
Well, it's almost like they're not even trying to win. They're not trying to keep the stadium, up to date. It's kind of a dirty, decaying place. And all they're doing is saying, you know what? No one's going to watch us anyway. Let's just grab as many prospects as we can. And that's what they've done. So someone will reap the benefits of it one day, whether it's Las Vegas, whether it's Salt Lake City, somebody. I can't believe they'll be staying there. I think they'll definitely be moving. And in Las Vegas, as soon as someone steps up and says, we're going to build you a stadium, they're gone.
But here's the thing with Las Vegas, and here's what I have to wonder. And I've heard people suggest that maybe Vegas doesn't even want the A's. Maybe they want baseball, but maybe they don't want the A's because, look, they got the Raiders, who are sort of middle of the rung team. They're name brand. Obviously, they had some talent on that roster when they inherited the Raiders. The NHL team had success right out of the gate, even as an expansion team in the NHL. We've seen the Las Vegas Aces in the WNBA. That team's been successful. Is there something to be said for Vegas wanting a team as bad as the A's? Because it's going to be 5 years before that team is any good.
Yeah, I'm not sure it'll work. I've said that for years. The reason I say that is, Phoenix is the fourth largest city in the country and has trouble having success in Phoenix drawing fans. So what's going to be like in Vegas, a much smaller city, more transient city? You're going to have the casinos buy out all the suites and that sort of thing. But I just can't see all the tourists coming to Las Vegas in the summertime say, okay, I want to go watch a baseball game. They're going to gamble instead. So I wonder how it worked there. But you're right. I mean, no one's stepping up and saying, "Oh, I can't wait to get the A's." I can see, NBA team. Obviously, I think that would work. NHL has been a huge success. Raiders are a huge success. I'm not sure if the A's would fly.
Speaking of new homes, I'm reading all this chatter. We talked about it on the show last night about Salt Lake City. I don't get it. I mean, I've driven through Salt Lake City, spent a little time there. I don't get the love affair with Salt Lake City. Set me straight here on expansion versus relocation. And where is the league's mindset? Where's Rob Manfred's mindset on both when it comes to Tampa Bay and potentially relocating them, when it comes to the A's and relocating them, and how this all fits potentially with expansion down the line?
Yeah, it's fine for a city to say they want an expansion franchise. I mean, but I can't see it. I have never heard Salt Lake once at the owners' meetings, among owners talking, GMs, nothing. So I think the only chance they would have is relocation if the A's move there, if Vegas doesn't come through. But I can't see Salt Lake. They want expansion. 30 teams is awkward. They want 32 for scheduling. Then they're going to just completely revamp the leagues and divisions as we know it. I don't think there'll be American League, National League anymore. I
Wow.
think they'll do a complete realignment. And we're talking a good probably 5 years minimum, if not 6, 7, or 8 years down the road. They do want to take care of the A's and Rays stadium situations first. The one team that's going to get one is, or one seed will get one is Nashville. That's number one on the wish list. I think it's definitely going to Nashville. We'll see about the second one. Montreal's on their wish list. They would love to see a second team in Canada.
Yeah. And does Tampa Bay make the most sense for them? I mean, I know there's been that link before.
They sound optimistic, and so does Manford. So the Rays owners that they're going to get a ballpark, a new ballpark. Hopefully, it's in Tampa because it hasn't worked in St. Pete. I know people want a retractable roof and everything else, but they sound very encouraging that it's going to happen. It's a good ball team, obviously. They are starting to draw better, so I think it stays put in the St. Pete, Tampa area.
Another team struggling is the Tigers. Who knows when the pivot point is for that organization? I like a lot of the talent, Riley Green and, Spencer Torkelson was supposed to be good. He struggled last year. AJ Hinch benches Javier Baez yesterday after he didn't know how many outs there were, ran into a double play. I think they're 3-10 out of the gate. Baez struggled all of last year. What's the answer in Detroit ultimately? Is it just patience?
I think it's patience. I mean, brought in a whole new front office. I think they thought that AJ Hinch would be the magical cure. That hasn't worked out. They're playing very sloppy baseball. It's not just a bias, but go up and down. So I think it is patient. They do have a lot of nice young talent. They're in the right division. If you're going to win, you want to be in the AL Central or the NL Central. So I think it'll come one day. It's just going to take a lot more time than they expected. We'll see what happens. Baez does have an opt out after the year. I'm sure there'll be hands and knees begging him to please opt out because he's been a disaster so far.
Talking Major League Baseball with Bob Nightingale from USA Today. World champion Astros off to a meh kind of start. I know they're without Altuve. Christian Javier's velocity is down a bit. I've heard people in Houston talking about that. Obviously, too early to look at the records per se, but what are you hearing on the Astros early on in an AL West where the Rangers and Angels are off to a decent start, the Mariners losing a lot of close games? What are you hearing about the AL West?
Yeah, I was with the Astros their opening weekend, all the celebrations, the rings, the banner, and everything else. They're worried. Altuve is such a huge loss. I mean, this guy's a perennial MVP candidate. You lost Michael Brantley as well. No more Justin Verlander. That being said, they're still a very good team. Bregman's off to a slow start, and he's been off to slow starts before and been all right. So I think they'll be fine. It's just not a push button team by any means. I think they'll become a much better team once Altuve returns. That's not going to be until probably the 1st of June.
The team the Astros beat last year to reach the World Series is the Yankees. I think they're 8-6. Burrito got beat up last night in a big way by the Twins. Anthony Volpe's off to a slow start. The Yankees don't seem to be too concerned. Aaron Boone is preaching patience. Should the Yankees remain patient with him? Will they?
I think they'll give him extra, leeway for sure. Because nobody wants to send down, a rookie right when he gets called up, and it happened before. The kid loses confidence, that sort of thing, and it's almost like he's embarrassed. So they'll give him every chance to succeed at the plate. Yankees are a good team. I don't think they're a great team. I had, a couple of GMs told me in the spring training they predicted the Yankees would make the playoffs. I don't agree with that. But I do believe you look down talent-wise, you look at the Rays and you look at the Blue Jays, that they could easily finish third place in that division.
Last one, pace of play. More with Bob Nightingale on the other side on shortened baseball, and is it here to stay or is it going to get tweaked? It's next on the Cash In. It's SportsMap Radio.
That they could easily finish third place in that division.
If you're watching the video feed of the show, don't worry, it's not frozen. We just have a conversation. We're going to continue here with Bob Nightingale. I had one more question I wanted to ask him before we wrapped up the interview, so I had to stretch him out into a second segment. And anybody who's listened to the show by now knows I'm not happy about the shortened baseball games. I'm just not. By the way, Brian, I didn't hear you weigh in on this. Do you like the shorter baseball games? Okay. Like I said, Yankees 2 hours and 11 minutes tonight. Yankees 2 hours and 11 minutes tonight. How about this? Marlins Diamondbacks 2 hours and 11 minutes. Same exact time. Philly Cincinnati tonight. Let's see. Philly and Cincinnati was 2:42. Miami, Arizona. What the heck was that? Miami, Arizona. No, I'm not. It's sometimes the computer makes noises off different web pages. Detroit. See what I mean? Detroit. I'm turning this down. Detroit and San Francisco tonight played 11 innings. There you go. 3 hours and 50 minutes. Yes! Let's celebrate. 3 hours and 50 minutes. I love it. Thank you. It's real baseball. It's baseball with hair on its you-know-what. Guardians beat the Nationals 2 hours and 41 minutes for that game. I know it's just the most riveting radio in the history of man. Me reading off time of game and these things. 2:57 on the Red Sox and Angels. All right, I feel a little better. I asked Bob Nightingale. Well, you can listen for yourself. This is what I asked Bob Nightingale. Why spoil it for you? Last one. Pace of play. Basically games are 30 minutes shorter in that 2.5 hour range. I honestly don't like it. I was talking about with Brian Kenny. I'm not a fan of this speed baseball game. I know I'm probably in the minority on this, Bob. I don't know how you feel about it, but 1, 2, 3 innings right now feel like video game innings to me. They're that kind of fast. It feels rushed to me. And when I see these stories about teams extending liquor sales much later into games, it makes me wonder if Major League Baseball didn't think about some of the unintended consequences of just how fast these games are when you've got teams looking at the bottom line and saying, oh, wait, we're losing this much money? That I didn't know what would be the impetus for potentially scaling back some of the time changes and the time restrictions. But it may turn out that they have to, because teams might lose so much money in revenue in food, liquor sales, all this stuff. Could it be the impetus for change in trying to stretch it out just a little bit longer next year? Or is this the new normal and get used to it?
I think get used to it. I could see him going to a 20-second pitch clock, whether nobody's on base or someone's on base. Just keep it uniform. I think the danger we have with the fast-paced games is late innings, or particularly postseason. It's like, wait a minute, we want to see that drama build. When the Trout bases Ohtani in the World Baseball Classic, you don't want to be looking at a pitch clock and or hurry to make that pitch. You want that drama to slowly unfold. So I think that's a danger. But yeah, I mean, the games, they don't seem that much quicker when you're at them. Just then you look at your, watch at the ninth inning or so, and say, oh my God, I didn't realize the game was, this quick. In some ways, when you think about it, the pitch clock is just kind of to camouflage the lack of action in today's game. When we had 3.5 hour, 4 hour games in the steroid era, nobody complained. It felt like 20 minutes because there was so much action. Now we're not seeing much action. Seeing a little bit more with the with stolen bases. But I think there was plenty of action. Nobody would care. I do think it reveals too just how much dead time there was in baseball that we really didn't realize. What was going on. The beer sills are kind of funny to me. I saw where Matt Strom, the Phillies, said we should move it to the 6th inning. It would make sense if you want to for fan safety and everything else. So with the Astros now, you can drink all game long, and it sounds kind of funny, but when you think about it, these teams all go in the 8th inning. What's the next 10 minutes? So it'll be interesting to see what happens there.
Bob Nightingale, check out his work, USA Today, senior Major League Baseball writer. It's always good to talk to you, my friend. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk down the line.
All right, sounds great. Thank you, Jason.
Thanks, Bob. Awesome as always.
Anytime.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, and I know I don't ever mean to seem needy when I'm trying to get you on, and I totally understand because you're out at games a lot and stuff like that. So I totally get it. So thank you.
Yeah, no games today. So yeah, it makes it easier when there's
We'll give away the PS5. They are not giving away a PS5. You're not getting our PS5. Not that I play it. Oh, by the way, he beat that game, whatever, Horizons. Yeah, he beat it. He was up till like 3 a.m. every night playing it until he beat it. I don't get it. We're coming back. All right. Okay. No live. Yay! Okay. Da, 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 da. Another hour of the show starts right now on SportsMap Radio and the SportsMap Radio app. We'll have our weekly NASCAR spot coming up with Jerry Bonkowski from NASCAR.com and Auto Week. We'll do that 30 minutes from now. I actually watched the dirt track racing last week at Bristol. I actually did. It was Easter Sunday night. And I said, I want to see what dirt track racing in NASCAR, in the NASCAR vehicles. I want to see what this looks like. So I actually turned on the race in Bristol, the Food City 400 or something like that, Food City 250, I don't know. And I watched dirt track racing. And I have some observations that I will discuss with Jerry Bonkowski when he joins us coming up 30 minutes from now to talk about this week's race, which is in Martinsville. So we'll get into it with him on all of that. 1-800-224-2004, 800-224-2004. You want to text the show, go ahead and do it, 888-670-8549. No matter where you're listening tonight, you can text us, 888-670-8549. I want to know from you what series, give me one upset that you are predicting. Which lower seed will beat a team with a higher seed in the opening round of the NBA playoffs? We will pick one name at random at the end of the show. You will win something. I just can't decide what I want to give away this week. And seeing as it's my show, I could decide on the fly. So that's what I do. Last 2 weeks, we gave away a Shohei Ohtani rookie baseball card. We gave away, the last two giveaways were Shohei Ohtani rookie baseball card and a $25 gift card, Visa gift card. Last two gifts. Last two giveaways on the show. So, I don't know. I got to decide what I want to do. I'll figure it out a little later on in the show. Couple NBA notes. Obviously, we're keeping tabs. We've given you some live betting options tonight. I have given you two picks that I like. The Thunder plus 9.5. Thunder plus 9.5 on the live betting tonight. And under 215.5 on the Thunder and T-Wolves. So those are our two live bets. Lock them in. You still got a couple minutes before the end of the half. If you're in a state where betting is legal, go ahead and get your live bet in tonight on Oklahoma City plus 9.5 and under 215.5 in that game. 57-47 Minnesota at the half. I think it's actually going to be a pretty close game. So lock those two live bets in. We'll see what happens. Two NBA notes that I want to get to. One is put a big old smile on my face. The other is cringeworthy and very disturbing. The first one that I really am happy about. The Dallas Mavericks fined $750,000 by the NBA for conduct detrimental to the league after an investigation into the franchise's decision to sit several key players for the April 7th loss that eliminated the team from playing contention. Tim McMahon has the story over on ESPN.com. And this is, by the way, I love this. After an investigation. What investigation? They said we're sitting our guys because we want to lose because we want the 10th pick in the draft. What? There's no investigation needed. What, you need the Zapruder, the Zapruder film for this? I mean, come on. There's no investigation. NBA investigating the Mavericks. What was there to investigate? Mark Cuban said we're tanking the last two games so we can get maybe a 10th draft pick. Maybe we'll get lucky and it'll be higher. And we could also be unlucky and wind up with no draft pick because the Knicks could wind up getting it if we're 11 through 14. Great. Brilliant. Luka Doncic played 12 minutes, 35 seconds before he left the game early in the second quarter. I still want to see what happens with Jason Kidd. Like, if I were Jason Kidd, I'd be done. I'd walk away from that mess. Kidd said after the loss to the Bulls, it's not so much waving the white flag. Then what is it? You clown. Don't be a stooge for the organization. And look, this is part of the reason. This is part of the reason that I literally said I will not work in corporate media anymore. Because I will not be a stooge for somebody. I'm sorry, I won't do it. There's a reason I sat on the sidelines for 6 years. I just can't. I'm sorry. I could have had plenty of jobs over the last 6 years. I sat on the sidelines because I did not want to work for corporate media outlets. I don't mind putting my show on corporate media outlets. You guys want to air it? Great. All the power to you. It's a good show. You should air it on your station. I firmly believe that. But I don't want to have to sit there and play the company game. Jason Kidd is choosing to play the company game. And I feel bad for him that he has to do it because he's probably afraid if he doesn't, he'll wind up like Mark Jackson, somebody sitting on the sidelines who nobody will hire. Mark Jackson was thought to be like this great next up-and-coming coach in the league. He coached the Warriors. He got a bad reputation while he was there, and he hasn't been able to get a job since. You think Jason Kidd doesn't see that? No. He's going to play the game. You have to sacrifice your principles sometimes. I got to a point where I was no longer willing to do that. Jason Kidd wants to do it. Hey, knock yourself out. But I'm not saying this, and I know people will think I'm lying when I say this. If I got a call tomorrow from a certain station in a super mega market like New York or LA, and they were like, yeah, we want you to come work for us, and we're owned by fill in the blank corporate media outlet, we want you to come work for us, I wouldn't do it. I would not do it because I've done it, and I know what how those companies operate. And it's fine if you are of a certain mindset and you're willing to play the game. I'm 45 years old. I'm done playing the game. And if you're Jason Kidd, you want to play the game. You want to be gainfully employed. He's still young. He could be a coach in the league for another 15 years if he wants to. And we could question whether or not he's a good coach or not. I mean, at one point this season, he literally told the fans about Kyrie Irving and Luka playing together, hey, I'm watching just like you. Watching? You're supposed to be coaching. I mean, everybody has to have some culpability in the struggles of this team, and that includes Jason Kidd. Nico Harrison does. Mark Cuban does. They all do. But that all goes right down to Jason Kidd as well. Cuban also admitted Dallas tanked in 2017, saying after that season on the Dan Patrick Show, the Mavs did everything possible to lose games once they were eliminated from the playoffs. He was fined $600,000 in 2018 for publicly admitting that the Mavericks were tanking. Told the team losing's in our best interest. I'm shocked he hasn't been fined more, given the fact that he admitted in 2017 they tanked. He was fined $600,000 in 2018, so you only went up $150,000. That's not even adjusted for inflation. When you go from $600,000 to $750,000, why didn't he get fined more? Obviously, you didn't scare him away with the $600,000 fine. I don't know what the max is for the league, but I sure as hell would have fined him that much. And I say this as a guy that thinks Mark Cuban is funny. I think he's done some great things business-wise. I'm a huge fan of Shark Tank. Part of the reason I decided I wanted to be an entrepreneur and go into business for myself was Mark Cuban on Shark Tank. Part of the reason I said I'm going to build my own media company when people thought I was nuts was watching Mark Cuban on Shark Tank. And I know my husband will walk into the room and be like, why are you watching that show? He can't stand Shark Tank. But I would sit there and watch it. Wanted to have my own business. Learned a lot from it. But as far as the Mavericks are concerned right now, if he's part of the reason, he's part of the problem of that organization having dropped the ball. The buck stops with him. He isn't, he doesn't get to be released from culpability here. So I'm glad they got fined. Send a message. I mean, again, for him it's money under the pillow that he could take out. He could probably, send it in pennies if he wanted to Adam Silver at the league office. I will be curious to see how Cuban responds to it. Joe Dumars, NBA executive vice president, head of basketball operations, said in a statement from the league office, quote, "The Dallas Mavericks' decision to restrict key players from fully participating in an elimination game last Friday against Chicago undermined the integrity of our sport. The Mavericks' actions failed our fans and our league." It's about all you need to know, isn't it? All right. James in Detroit, Michigan, texting the show says, "So Jason, if corporate media offers you a multi-million-dollar deal contract, you wouldn't sign it at all." James from Detroit, Michigan. Now, see, there's an answer to that, James, and here it is. If they wanted to contract to my company, I would gladly take their money. But I will never give up creative control of my show and my content, ever. Just won't do it. We're coming back. I got a where somebody on social media thinks, hey, you know what? I'm going to go on Twitter and say, whatever these people were saying. I mean, could you imagine? She's a child. She's 9 years old. It's crazy. It's the world we live in, DeRozan said after Friday night's loss at Miami. No matter how good something could be, you still got miserable people that just don't have a life. Honestly, it's sad. All I care about is my daughter enjoying her moment. Now let me talk about the other side of this. That answer from DeMar DeRozan is fine up until the last line where he says, all I care about is my daughter enjoying her moment. Enjoying her moment? You want your daughter to become famous for screeching so loud that in an arena of 20,000 people, you could hear her over everything while some guy's trying to shoot a free throw in a playoff game? Are you kidding me? Or you think it's okay for her to have her moment because she's getting her 15 minutes at 9 years old for getting online social media threats directed towards her? That's okay? Like, what? Oh, my God. And again, both things can be true. You're a crazy, sick, twisted, demented human being to be sending threats to a 9-year-old. You know what else can be true? DeMar DeRozan's got to do a better job as a father. D.R. DeRozan was not in attendance Friday night in Miami. DeMar DeRozan was adamant even after the game that his daughter would not miss another day of school and revealed Friday morning she was playing in her own basketball game that night. Quote, she's still a child, you know what I mean? I don't let her get caught up in the outside fix of it. She just came there for one reason and one reason only, and that was to support her dad. She had the most fun with it. For me, I wanted to protect that moment for her. What moment? Stop calling this a moment. And it's one thing to support her dad. It is another thing to screech at the top of your 9-year-old lungs so that an entire arena can hear you as somebody's trying to shoot a free throw. I never would have thought it would go to that extreme that it did, DeMar DeRozan said. But it did. Maybe later down the line when she gets older, she'll look back at it and realize what really happened. It's crazy. It's the world we live in. No matter how good something could be, you still got miserable people that just don't have a life, honestly. It's sad. And then he reiterated again that all he cared about is his daughter enjoying her moment. Wow. I'm so glad I'm not a parent. Yeah. I mean, it's just. Yeah. No, I agree. It's just terrible. It's absolutely terrible. And like I said, both sides of the two takes on that story are both equal parts disturbing. That a parent of a 9-year-old thinks, wow, I'll use the word moment. What a moment. And then the other take is there are a lot of disturbed people in this world. I mean, all you have to do is look at the news today, and I mean, you see it. You don't need me to sit here and go through the headlines for you unless you live in a cave and just avoid the news. And there are people that do that. But I sometimes just shake my head at this world we live in. Send me your texts tonight, 888-670-8549. We'll read them on the air. I want to know your upset for the first round of the NBA postseason. And at the end of the show, we're going to give something away. We'll put the names in the randomizer, and we'll give something away. John in Dallas, listening to the show on 97.1 The Freak, says Warriors over the Kings. It's a good one. That's the popular one. I'm going to give Paige's picks at the top of the next hour. A special NBA playoff edition. Who I think is going to win each opening round series. I'm going to give you a prediction on that. And, well, you might be surprised by what I think about the Kings and the Golden State Warriors. That's coming up in just a couple of minutes. All right, also coming up, we're going to talk with Jerry Bonkowski. If you love NASCAR, you're going to want to stick around for that. We'll talk with Jerry Bonkowski, get his thoughts on the big race coming up this week, the NOCO 400 in Martinsville, our weekly NASCAR spot with Jerry Bonkowski of NASCAR.com and Auto Week. Stick around for that. I'm Jason Page. The cash-in rolls on SportsMap Radio. Continuing on this Friday edition of the show, and always happy to bring in our friend Bob Nightingale. Does a great job with USA Today, senior M. No. Is it any good? Really? Because I like the idea behind it. Huh. Yeah. Yes. Whoops. Mean Gene. Let me tell you something, Mean Gene. There's only one Mean Gene. Let's just make this clear. Let me tell you something, Mean Gene. Ah, you sold them? Ah. Yeah, you just put yourself over. No, I have one. It's Grogu, the first Grogu that came out. Oh shoot! Hold on one second. Yeah, hold on one second. I gotta fix this. Hey Jerry, you hear me?
I can hear you fine.
All right, cool. Hang tight here. I'll get to you in just a moment, my friend.
No worries at all.
Just got to pull up something here. 100.
Whoops, what was that?
Yeah.
It was my phone or my computer for whatever reason making a noise like that.
All right, come back. Thanks for being with us tonight. Keeping tabs on the NBA play-in tournament game, win or go home. 84-72 Minnesota on top of Oklahoma City with 2:22 to go in the third quarter. Now 84-74. Somebody just got posterized. So we have Oklahoma City plus 9.5. And we have under 215.5 in that game that we've been telling you about tonight on the show. All right, the ninth NASCAR race of the ninth race of the 2023 NASCAR Cup Series season is on Sunday, 3 p.m. Eastern. The NOCO 400, the green flag will drop there. 37 drivers, 250 laps. Let's talk about it now with Jerry Bonkowski, NASCAR.com. And Auto Week joins us here on the Cash in SportsMap Radio and the SportsMap Radio app. Before we get to this race, Jerry, I got to find out, because I've texted with you about it a little bit. But I spent more time watching the dirt track race last week in Bristol than I probably have any NASCAR race in the last 15 years. I don't know why. I was enamored with it, the idea of these guys racing on dirt. And after I watched it, I came away with one opinion. They shouldn't be racing on dirt anymore because there's too many caution flags. You can't get into a rhythm. And for somebody who wanted to give NASCAR a shot by watching that race, I walked away from it going, the race is too clunky.
Well, here's what I think. And, I like the concept of a dirt race. What I don't like is the concept of a dirt race on an asphalt track. You need a dirt race on a true dirt track. And, nothing against the folks at Bristol Motor Speedway. They did a great job the last couple of, it's been 3 years now. They did their best. They brought in 80-plus semis full of dirt to try to make a track. But, dirt goes away both with the wind, the velocity, all that stuff. And like we talked about last week, what you have left is a track that becomes extremely slippery, and like you said, you can't get a rhythm because there's dirt up high and up low, but in the middle, it's just like dirty as opposed to dirt, and that is an issue I think that a lot of drivers, especially a guy like Kyle Larson, who I was really surprised about, he came out and said, "I don't want to race on dirt anymore here," and same thing with Kyle Busch, said the same exact thing. He won there 2 years ago, and yet he said he agreed with Larson. So. I would love to see a true dirt race, and I'll tell you, I've got the perfect place for it. Eldora Speedway in Roslyn, it's in Ohio, southwestern Ohio. It's about an hour from Dayton, Ohio. And I used to go there a lot of times when Tony Stewart had his what do they call it, the Eldora? I can't remember what he used to call it, but he had guys from all different motorsport series racing there, and they can put in about 30,000 folks there. That would be the ideal place to have a NASCAR Cup dirt race. And they could probably bring in some more extra seats, and they could really do a good job there, I believe.
Our friend is Jerry Bonkowski. He's also our guest on the show tonight. NASCAR.com and Auto Week if you want to check out his work talking about the sport. All right, let's talk about this week's race. One of the, it's the only remaining race track on the NASCAR circuit. That was, I guess, from the inception. 1948? Like,
yes.
This is one of the historic places, one of the founding fathers, if you will, of NASCAR. 4 drivers you kind of look at when I look at the odds that you talk about betting favorites: Kyle Larson, William Byron, who's the defending champion at this event, Martin Truex Jr., Christopher Bell, all 6-1. To win this week. Try and handicap this and give me a sense for what we should be looking for.
Well, I think one of the biggest storylines that maybe isn't necessarily being impacted so much by the betting lines is the return of Chase Elliott. I mean, I'm actually shocked he's back this quickly from his injury. So he's racing Sunday. If he can do it, and he did injure his left leg, so it's he's got the right leg is pretty much still the way it used to be before his injury. I think he could be a dark horse, even though you never usually put the words dark horse and Chase Elliott in the same sentence. But I think he's got a chance. Kyle Larson certainly has a chance. Christopher Bell, I think, certainly has a chance. But there's a lot of other guys that you don't want to sell out short. I mean, Joey Logano, Ross Chastain. I mean, with the move he made last year to get himself into the playoffs, they won't allow that anymore. But still, that was a hell of a ballsy move for him to do it that way. So there's a lot of guys that can win this race. The key is your brakes and your tires. If you can control those things, your brakes don't get overheated, and your tires don't get you don't lose too much traction. You maintain your tire strategy. You're going to be okay.
The highest percentage of bets so far on this race are going towards Alex Bowman. Tell me why.
Bowman is a good short track racer. That's where he grew up at, in the Southwest, in the Phoenix area, and the Tucson area rather. And he knows how to get himself around there. I just don't know if I would be, if I was to put money down, I don't know if I would be betting on him. I just think that there's other guys like a Kyle Larson or a Christopher Bell that can outdrive him. Maybe I'm going to be wrong, and he may be in victory lane come Sunday. But don't get me wrong. Bowman's a good driver. He's a really good short track driver. I just don't see him winning this race. That's just my opinion.
How do tell me something? Coming off a race like last week, how do guys adjust? To go from that sort of thing, and I get it, it's a full week in between, and they get their practice sessions in and all that. But what's it like for these guys to go from that type of race last week back to much more of a traditional race?
Well, I mean, people say that Bristol and Martinsville are very similar. No, that's not true, because Bristol's got the high banks, whereas Martinsville basically is a flat track. They're both about a half mile in length. Martinsville's a little bit shorter than Bristol. But, the point is that they really are two entirely different racetracks. And, how you prepare for Bristol is not how you prepare for Martinsville, and vice versa. I think that, you look at some of the drivers that have won at Martinsville over the years. I'll give you one name right off the top of my head. It's Tony Stewart. He hated that place. I mean, the first 3-4 years, this guy absolutely detested that place. And then it became one of his favorite racetracks. So, it's a kind of track you have to get a feel for it. You got to do a lot of racing on that track. You got to be, 4 or 5 years worth of, 2 races a year to really get a good handle on it, and that's when you can have your success. I mean, Jimmy Johnson was very similar to that. Jeff Gordon, same way. Richard Petty, the king of Martinsville. It takes a long time to get used to it, but once you get the hit, the hang of it, and the trick, if you will, you're going to do good.
Talk a little bit about Chase Elliott, who we were talking about before, as sort of a dark horse here. Were you surprised when he basically came out and said, yeah, you know what, I'm still going to keep snowboarding, even after this sort of thing, and knowing the jeopardy that it puts his status in, and everything that comes with that? Were you surprised that Chase Elliott basically said, I ain't going to change a thing?
I was surprised, but, NASCAR, a lot of times, there's a lot of wink, wink, nudge, nudge kind of things. And I'm not going to be surprised if Mr. Hendricks says to him, you may say you're going to do it, you're not going to do it, or it's going to jeopardize your contract. I mean, there's all kinds of writers they can put in there. I mean, and the recorders, for the most part, don't have any access to what the contracts look like. So he can say that he's going to do all the snowboarding he wants, but, Rick Hendricks, when it comes time to renew Chase's contract, he probably is going to say, well, there's certain at-risk activities that you can't do, and snowboarding is one of them. Maybe motorcycle racing is another one. I mean, there's a lot of things that guys have written into their contracts that they can't do, and I'm not going to be surprised. I mean, if Rick Hendricks thinks that he can allow Chase Elliott to continue snowboarding, more power to Chase, but I just have a funny feeling this is not going to be the case.
Jerry Bonkowski, NASCAR.com and Auto Week, joins us here on the Cash In SportsMap Radio. About a minute and a half here. It's one of those cringy stories, this Cody Ware situation, arrested, alleged assault, strangulation. He's been basically a non-factor so far this year. 31st in the Cup standings. He's been on the circuit since 2017. Best finish last year at Daytona, was 6th, I believe. Give me a sense for this story. I know Matt Crafton is replacing him in the number 51 Ford, and sort of how Rick Ware Racing is handling this.
Well, this is an allegation. Obviously, it's going to have to go to trial. There's a lot of similarity that I see in Cody's case as there was with Kurt Busch when he was accused of domestic violence. As it turns out, that never happened. I mean, he was suspended for a few races, but then after both the police and the NASCAR investigations, Kurt was reinstated, and it turns out that he was innocent, essentially, of all the charges. From everything I've read about Cody, he's got a very difficult case ahead of him, and you can't lose your cool no matter who you are, no matter what gender you are, your sexual preferences. You can't lose your temper and strangle anybody. I mean, I don't care who you are. And, he's in deep trouble right now. I would not be surprised if he's been suspended indefinitely. And if he gets convicted, his racing career is over with. There's no way NASCAR would reinstate him.
Jerry Bonkowski, NASCAR.com and Auto Week. Check him out. Enjoy the racing this weekend. Did you give me a winner, by the way? Give me one real quick, 5 seconds.
I'm going to go with Christopher Bell.
All right. Christopher Bell, you're on the board. Thank you, my friend. I'll talk to you next week.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
We're coming back. Thank you, Jerry. Appreciate it, my friend.
My pleasure, man.
Be well.
My pleasure. All right, we'll talk to you next week.
Yeah,
okay?
man. We still got to do a catch-up call.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm actually pretty free all next week, so you want to give me a shot, just let me know, and we can talk then for
all
sure.
Right.
Then, okay?
We'll talk. Bye-bye.
Okay, man. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Like, wow. Boy, Gobert's showing up tonight. I said Gobert is showing up. Period. The monkey. And I don't mean that in a racial way. The Ebola monkey, yeah. Yeah. God, this game's a 20-point game. What the fuck? I thought the Thunder would show up better than this. Yeah, Gobert, 16-9, 5 of 9 shooting, 6 of 10 at the line. All right, I've told you guys, send in your predictions for the opening round of the NBA postseason. Tell me where you think the first round upset will take place. And by that, I mean lower seed beats a seed that is higher than them. And yes, that would include the Warriors if you think so, because that would be an upset. I don't care what the odds makers are saying. It would be an upset. I mean, one team's a 3 seed and one team is a 6 seed. We're not even talking like a 4 or 5. Jerry in Louisville, Texas is on the board. Says Lakers over Memphis. I'm not going to give it away because we're going to do Paige's picks coming up in 15 minutes on the show. Not going to give it away. But I think you're on to something there, Jerry. Think you're on to something. We'll get to the Paige's picks. I will give every first-round series, a prediction on every first-round series coming up at the start of next hour. You want to get your prediction in? 888-670-8549. 888-670-8549. I'm going to be giving something away. I just haven't decided what it is yet. Yeah, I know. I know. No, that isn't gonna make people want to take part in the contest. I got news for you. People want to win something. You give what? What did you say? I want winners. Oh, yeah? Yeah. I figured that. Yeah, we told you last night on the show. Take the Toronto Blue Jays. Oh, boy. Minnesota is just lighting it up. Oh, boy. My apologies in advance to our audience, because it looks like at least one of our bets is in a world of trouble. Wow. We went there, huh? Wow. No, Dave in Connecticut did not take the bet. But he did. Well, listen, he didn't take that bet, but he did take another one that doesn't look very good right now. Yeah. Wow. Even Dave in Connecticut gets it tonight. Nobody is safe. Nobody is safe. 800-224-2004, by the way, is the phone number as well. 800-224-2004. He said, let's see, he took the Thunder -1 in the second half, and they were down 10 at the half. They're now down by like 16, 20. So they got to lose by 9 or less. Yeah. Here they go. They got to lose by 9 or less. They're down 27. What the hell happened in this game? No, well, you never know. Sometimes you can get a backdoor. There is such a thing as the backdoor cover. We are fans of the backdoor cover. And be surprised if you got lucky. Oh my God, they're throwing like alley-oop dunks. I mean, it's It's 109.80 with 7:52 left. This is what I see. Here's the thing. This is what I expected from the Thunder the other night. But this is what I expected from the Thunder in the game the other night against the Pelicans. I thought they'd play well for a couple of quarters, and that, down the stretch, the Pelicans would be able to wear them down a bit. This is what I expected to happen the other night when I told all of you to take the Pelicans, and that didn't go very well. So this is I'm not surprised. I'm surprised that if it was going to happen, I thought it would have happened the other night against New Orleans. Speaking of New Orleans, we got to talk about the Pelicans. I got enough time here. I'll talk about them here. This is All right. Dave's here. All right. I'll hold my Pelicans. I'll hold my fire on the Pelicans. Give me Dave in Connecticut, who's going to be eating ramen noodles over the weekend because he's certainly not winning his -1 bet on the Thunder tonight. Hi, Dave. You lost? Wait, did you say you lost with the Yankees tonight? Ugh. Hey, Brian, what's that sound effect? Can we hear that sound effect one more time for Dave? There it is. Oh, I know. Listen, I'm very surprised. I thought if the Thunder were going to lay an egg, it was going to be the other night. Yeah, 2 throwovers, and if you don't pick them off on the third one, it's a balk. Yeah, and I'll tell you another thing. I'll tell you the other problem too is if you throw over twice and then you get to the set position and you're trying to hold the runner, so you wait and you wait and you wait. Is it considered that they stop the pitch clock when he gets to the set position, or is it when he kicks his leg to throw the pitch? I'm not 100% sure on that. I'd have to go watch. But to me, that also becomes Brian, what do you got? Say that again. Brian says when you're about to go home. Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought. So it even makes it hard to try and sort of hold the runner just by staying at the set position, because you got to worry about that. So it's artificially inflating stolen bases. I like seeing more steals. I think it's a great thing to have it back in the game. I just don't like doing it artificially. I don't know, because if you throw over to third, they might count that as yeah. I think they may count it, but Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, Yankee game tonight was 2 hours and 11 minutes. I mean, that's crazy. That is 2 hours and 11 minutes. And Bob Nightingale said it best, and I appreciate the call, Dave. Have a good weekend, my friend. Bob Nightingale said it best. I'll tell you where it's going to piss people off. It's in the postseason. You're not going to be able to build to the drama because it's just, it's almost like talking through the applause line in a speech. You want to build to it. You want fans to get pumped up. You want it to get loud. You want the moment to creep in on whoever's hitting or whoever's pitching in that moment. And you won't have that. Because you got a clock in the corner of the screen that's counting down. And now it's yellow. And now it's red. And now you got to throw the pitch. I'm sorry. I'm not one of these crazy purists or anything like that. I don't think this is good for the game. We'll come back next hour, take on the Pelicans and more. Boy, Jared Kelenic is killing the baseball right now. Dude, he's hitting 375. Like, wow, what a turnaround. And that's why you don't give up on somebody after 1 year. I'm doing it here. I'm doing it coming up here. Can I tell you what's even worse? I sold off, after last season, I sold off my entire Jared Kelenic collection for like peanuts. Like nothing. Sold it for nothing. So stupid. God. I got rid of the whole collection. I just sold off my whole Joey Bart collection to somebody for like $30. And it was literally like 35 cards. Gave it away. Oh, God, no. No. It's just, there's like 15 or 16 boxes just loaded. Most of them are pretty useless. I could throw out a lot of stuff if I just found some. Like if I had a week off, I could probably take a couple of days and get rid of a lot of stuff. My boy Ezekiel Tovar's up with the bases loaded and 2 outs. I said my boy Ezekiel Tovar is up for the Rockies with the bases. I've got one card of his that's numbered to 50 and autographed in gold Sharpie on-card autograph. It's gorgeous. It's called Bowman Inception, and it's probably worth about $100 now. Well, the fact that it's numbered to 50 and the gold Sharpie. Yeah. It's a gorgeous card, though. Have to find it, send you a picture. It's really nice. I got 2 really good ones. I got that one, and I got Gunnar Henderson. I got a Gunnar Henderson autographed card that's worth about $200 right now. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think that's going to happen. He's not. Rutschman's going to win. I think Rutschman's eligible. Yeah, I think he is. Pretty sure Rutschman's available. Player awards. American League Rookie of the Year. Oh, no, you're right. He's not. It's got Yoshida's the favorite in the AL right now. Gunnar Henderson is the second favorite. Logan O'Hoppe is third. Volpe's third. Grayson Rodriguez is fourth. And Oscar Colas is fifth. Scrolling. Still scrolling. Nope, not. Oh, A-Rod's in attendance. Final hour of a Friday/Saturday edition of the show. Thank you for being with us. Who was A-Rod's? Did you see A-Rod's squeeze for the game tonight? Who was that? Oh, man. Oh, God, that ended eons ago. She's back with Ben Affleck. You really didn't know this? Really? Not about that, you wouldn't anyway. Speaking of Rookie of the Year candidates in baseball.
Twins scored 9 runs in the first. Allen's driven deep to left field. Going back Castro. Track. Wall. See ya. First home run in the big leagues. Anthony Volpe gives the Yankees a 1-0 lead.
Well, you can only hold that emotion in so long. You're running around those bases, you're like flying. You'll never forget your first hit and now your first home run.
Yep. Paul O'Neill, Michael K on the call. Oh, come on now. Don't be that guy. He's hitting 171. They can be patient with him. They batted him leadoff tonight. He had a walk and a home run in the game. And you figure he'll see. You figure because he put him ahead of Judge, he's going to see better pitches. Yeah, absolutely. Judge, by the way, with his 5th home run tonight. Stanton with his 4th. We won't mention the fact the Yankees lost. Clay Holmes got the loss. I got a feeling the Yankees are going to have an issue at closer. Holmes finished last year terribly. And he hasn't really looked that good in the early going so far. Like, he might have been a real flash in the pan. He might have been like the pitching version of Kevin Moss. Like, not good. Not good. So Yankees lose tonight. Yankees lose. Nah. It is what it is. It's early season baseball. I'm not going to get crazy. So we are running a contest tonight on the show. Give me your playoff upset in the first round. That is your mission, should you choose to accept it. And let me know. Text it into us, 888-670-8549, 888-670-8549. Text me your name, where you're listening to us, and your upset pick. David in Austin, Texas, listening on The Horn, 104.9. David, you didn't tell me, you didn't give me a prediction. You just said David from Austin, Texas, listening on The Horn. David, tell me who you're picking there, pal. Oh, there it is. Shane in Bullard, Texas, says minor upset, but I'll take the Knicks. He said, also, you want the little girl to be quiet? Hit your freaking free throws. Oh, my God. Did you see how bad they were in that? I think they were 16 for 32 at the free throw line in that game. It's all because of Dira DeRozan. Oh, man. Can't make it up. You really can't. All right, I'll get to the Pelicans in the next segment because right now it's time for me to tell you who's going to win each of the 8 opening round playoff series. You ready? Let's do it. Oh, yes! And this is why we have Brian McDonald producing and engineering this show. The dulcet tones of John Tesh on the ivory. It's great. John Tesh composed this. Music for your life. What? No. What? Round Ball Rock. That is the name of it. You're right. And I actually do know that. All right. Nets and the 76ers. Let's give you the playoff series. Actually, we'll go in order here on my list. Knicks, Cavaliers. Knicks plus 172. Cavaliers minus 205. This is one of my upset specials. Go and take the Knicks. They have been as good. Nope. They have been as good on the road as any team in the NBA this year. Playing on the road does not faze them. The noise in Cleveland will not faze them. Jalen Brunson has been magical for this team. Don't you wish you had him, Dallas? You could have. Instead, you blew up your franchise. Take the Knicks plus 172 on the road in Cleveland. I do think it'll be a very entertaining series. Nets, 76ers. This one's easy. Brooklyn is way over their heads as a 6th seed. If they had started the season with this roster, they probably would have been in the play-in tournament. Instead, they get saddled with it late in the year, able to hang on for a 6th seed. They get the 76ers in the first round. Matchup problems everywhere here. Philadelphia minus 1,000, the Nets plus 660. I wouldn't be shocked if the Sixers 1-5, maybe 6 at the most. Western Conference Series, Clippers and the Suns. Clippers plus 385, Phoenix minus 500. I'd like to find a reason to take the Clippers, but with no Paul George, at least early in the series, it's hard for me to find a reason. Phoenix has basically played perfect basketball since getting Kevin Durant. I'll take them in 6. Wouldn't be shocked if it ends sooner than that. Kings Warriors. Everybody and their mother loves the Warriors to the point that now the Kings are plus 225, which means the money just keeps flowing onto Golden State. Sacramento plus 225. I love the Kings. I actually think regular seasons matter. And if the Warriors win this series, there's one thing we're going to know for certain. Regular seasons in the NBA no longer matter. That you could just show up in the playoffs after being craptastic throughout the entire regular season, especially on the road. The Warriors are going to have to do something that they've only done like 10 times this year, and that is win on the road. They're going to have to win at least once on the road. And if they do that and win this series, then it means the regular season means nothing. I refuse to believe that. Take Sacramento plus 225. I'm going with the Kings. Lakers and Grizzlies. I am all over the Lakers bandwagon, ladies and gentlemen. This is not the same team that started the year 2-10. They've gotten better as the year has gone along. They escaped against Minnesota despite not playing all that well. I love Austin Reeves. I think he is an X factor in this series. You know what you're going to get from LeBron and Anthony Davis. Take the Lakers plus 120. No Brandon Clark for the Grizzlies in this series. I think that is going to play a key factor as well. Hawks and Celtics, don't even bother watching. Yes, I'll take a page out of Charles Barkley's book. Celtics are going to roll in this series. Boston in 5. Heat and the Bucks, we already got a line on it. Miami plus 750. Milwaukee minus 1,200. Look, I know there's storylines galore here. They've played each other twice in the last 3 years in the postseason and split those series. These are not the same teams. They are not on the same level. I've seen Miami. They're way too inconsistent. Milwaukee will win this series fairly easily. One more. It's going to be Minnesota and Denver. Minnesota and Denver will play in the first round because the T-Wolves are up by 27 on Oklahoma City with 1 minute left, so I think that's a fairly safe prediction. Minnesota and Denver, I think actually could be a fun series. But I do think Denver will win in 6. Take the Nuggets in 6. So those are your first round matchups. Courtesy of yours truly. Bet responsibly. My upsets, though, the Knicks plus 172. The Kings plus 225. I'm talking betting upsets. And the Lakers plus 120. My 3 big upsets. Otherwise, chalk, 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 chalk. What do you think, Brian McDonald? Really? You think Memphis is going to beat the Lakers, huh? Okay. A little friendly gentleman's bet. You'd care to make on that? What's your favorite fast food? What are you going to say? You say Chick-fil-A? You say Chick-fil-A? Going to support the business that don't like the gays? Really? Really? Huh? You mean McDonald's rubbery, grilled chicken ain't doing it for you? All right, I'll still buy. I will give if I'll tell you what, if they win, I will get you a $25 gift card to Chick-fil-A. I will give $25 to another human being and have them purchase the gift card because I refuse to put money in their pocket. But I will give money to somebody else, and you can get a $25 gift card. And if I win, you got to give me a $25 gift card to something I want. I just don't know what it's going to be. Maybe Cold Stone. Stone Cold! Stone Cold! Cold Stone, of course. Really? Didn't make it in Houston? It's 1,000 degrees there. We're coming back. I've never heard of that. The DeMar DeRozan stuff. Huh? Yeah, I'm putting my picks on there too. Drama. What'd you say? Really? No. I just wonder what precipitated it. Let's go. If you miss anything on the show tonight, and I mean anything, if you miss anything on the show, make sure to check out the Cash In with Jason Page podcast, which is available each night when the show ends. Just subscribe to it. It's there for you every day. So if you can't listen to the show, you can go check it out. There for you like a warm blanket. David in Austin, Texas. David, he texted me and said KD. I said upset. I need an upset. Not a player. I need an upset in the first round. You guys want to text the show, 888-670-8549. Send me your text, your name, where you're texting us from, and your upset for the first round of the NBA postseason. If there is one that you like. We've had a few entries so far. I said I was going to give something away at the end of the show. So one lucky texter tonight. But you got to send us a text, name, where you're texting from, and your upset special for the first round of the postseason. I am so down on the Pelicans right now with this whole Zion Williamson thing that's gone on over the last 3 months. This charade of, a hamstring injury that's kept the guy out for 3 months. Then Zion comes out just before the play-in tournament game and says, well, I'm not going to come back until I feel like Zion. I'm not going to come back until I feel like Zion, he said. I'll return when I feel like Zion. Well, now the Pelicans, seeing all the heat that he got from that statement, have decided to come out and do a little revisionist history. At least I think that's what's going on here. Pelicans Executive Vice President of Basketball Operations David Griffin said today that Zion Williamson was not cleared to play 5-on-5 basketball, and Williamson simply wasn't choosing not to play in Wednesday's win-or-go-home game against the Thunder. Here's the problem with this. Zion Williamson said this 3 days ago, and just now the Pelicans decide to come out and say, oh, no, he wasn't playing because he wasn't cleared to play. They could have made this statement 3 days ago when Zion met with reporters and said, the reason I'm not playing is because I'm not going to play until I feel like Zion again. So for them to come out now and try to protect their superstar, who looks like he's, basically a giant cupcake, and I mean giant cupcake, and sit there and say that, well, he wasn't cleared to play 5-on-5. It's complete BS. There's no way to believe you. Because you could have said that immediately after a press conference or a press gaggle where he stood in front of reporters and said, the reason I'm healthy and the reason I'm not playing is because I don't feel like myself yet. He came up here the other day and said, physically, I'm fine, Griffin said. Physically, I'm fine means I'm not currently injured, Griffin told reporters during the team's exit interviews. He wasn't physically cleared to play basketball. He was playing one-on-one. He was playing one-on-none. He went up and windmill dunked pregame. That's not the skill set that makes you capable of playing 5-on-5 basketball. So for people to now say he chose not to play basketball, that's nonsense. That's not factual, but that's a way more interesting story than he chose not to play basketball. That's the truth. Again, David Griffin Tell us why you're telling us this after the fact. Why you waited 3 days. 3 days from when Zion met with the media and said, no, I'm fine. Physically, I'm fine. So, David Griffin, you have zero credibility now. Zero credibility. Can't believe anything that comes out of your mouth. Ridiculous. On April 6th, the Pelicans put out a statement saying Zion was going to continue his rehab and conditioning regimen. The following day, Griffin told reporters there were still metrics in the weight room and on the court that Williams needed to hit before being cleared to return to action. He makes the one misstatement, Griffin again. He makes the one misstatement about physically I'm fine. Had I been here, I would have clarified it immediately, Griffin said. The thing is, when you're going through a rehab process and a player does not report, I'm very comfortable and confident in this movement, you don't go to the next movement. That's not because he's not choosing not to play basketball. That's because a rehab protocol requires a player is comfortable doing the movement he's doing. The miscommunication is largely our fault. You're damn right it is. I also think there's a component of this. If we don't always look for the most sinister outcome, there usually isn't one. Listen, between Zion not being able to stay on the court and stay healthy and the way this team now is obviously handling him with kid gloves and trying to protect him at all costs, this is not a good situation for anybody. It's not going to be good for Zion's development. It's not going to be good for this team as an organization. And I said it the other night, and I'll say it again. I want to see how much longer it is before you start to hear the rumbles out of that organization. Anonymous sources, players anonymously speaking to members of the media who start to say, this Zion thing isn't good. This Zion thing is, a situation where the guy just can't stay healthy, or he's not putting in the effort, or, he's not in shape enough. And frankly, all you got to do is look at Zion Williamson and you can figure out he is not in NBA shape. He is too heavy. He's not Oliver Miller heavy. Rest in peace, Oliver Miller. But I just, for the life of me, I don't know what you do as a Pelicans organization. Because you do have talent on that roster. There's talent on that team. But I don't know how you go year to year. It's worse than Kawhi Leonard because they made the decision to completely build around this guy, and he's young and's got and he's just about to step into this massive contract now. At least Kawhi is going to be out there for the postseason. I just absolutely flabbergasted with the whole Zion thing. By the way, it's final. Minnesota won. So Thunder get blown out. Timberwolves get the Nuggets in the first round. Good luck. Which Anthony Edwards are you going to get in that series? He had 19 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists tonight. Are you going to get the Anthony Edwards that went 3 of 17 against the Lakers? Or are you going to get the Anthony Edwards that went 19, 10, and 6 tonight? Because I got news for you. That's going to be the key in that series. Which Anthony Edwards do you get? You know what you're going to get out of Karl Anthony Towns. 28 tonight, 11 of 16, 11 rebounds. By the way, not the crowning achievement of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's season. He was 5 of 19 tonight. Tough way to end a phenomenal season for that young man. That is a rough way to end the season. Baseball games still in progress, just to give you those before we get ready to talk to Bob Nightingale, who's coming up on the other side. Mets are pounding, well, it's like clubbing baby seals. Mets are beating the Oakland A's 13-5 tonight in Oakland. At least there's probably a few fans at that game, right? Okay, fair enough. Okay. 13-5. Mets on top tonight. Lindor a home run in that game. You know who's actually, again, I don't know if people do fantasy baseball. It's too long of a season to do. I can't do it anymore. I don't think I've done fantasy baseball since high school. If you got a chance, go snag Brent Rooker right now. This dude was basically a journeyman, was in the Twins organization. They let him go after last year. He's hitting 360 in the early going. He's got 4 home runs and 11 RBIs through the first, 14 games of the season. That's a pretty healthy sample size. Like, the dude is raking for a bad team. Mets on the way to going 8-6 on the year, by the way. We're coming back. Bob Nightingale, USA Today's national senior MLB writer, will join us on the Cash In on SportsMap Radio. Stay with us. No, we can tear down Purdue. They've sucked. Yeah, seriously. Seriously. Like, come on, dude. This is called being a contrarian. That's what this is called. Continuing on this Friday edition of the show, and always happy to bring in our friend Bob Nightingale. Does a great job with USA Today, senior MLB writer. All right, Bob, start with the Rays. 13-0 start to the season in Toronto for a weekend series. This amazing beginning to 2023, how much of this is the schedule and how much of this is just the Rays being this good?
I think the Rays be beating anybody now. It doesn't matter, what the schedule looks like. Hey, everybody's a major league team. You got to beat up those teams.
Mean Gene.
So even with the schedule, you would say, okay, if they got off to an 8-5 start, that's a great start. Nobody's thinking 13-0. They're not just winning by flukes. I mean, they're just trouncing people. I think the average difference in their scores are 6.5 runs. They've outscored the opposition 101-30. Just mind-boggling what they're doing.
Yeah, it certainly is. And they didn't really change much in the offseason. I mean, Franco's finally, fully healthy, and they hope to have him for a full campaign. I mean, other than maybe Zach Elfin, I mean, what have they really added from last year that accounts for this sort of thing? Because, in the past years, it's been relying on their pitching. This year, you look up and down the lineup so far through the first 13 games, this team's hitting.
Yeah, I mean they're healthy. They got another year of experience and all that. They had got banged up in the rotation with Jeffrey Springs going down, Zach Eflin going down, but still, I mean they don't have to rely on those openers anymore. That rotation is that good and that's solid. Scouts raved about them this spring, saying, "Watch out, this might be the best race team that they've ever had down there."
That's just amazing. Could I go to the other extreme for a second? There's a chance that the A's could win. Continuing on this Friday edition of the Continuing on this Friday edition of the show, and always happy to bring in our friend Bob Nightingale. Does a great job with USA Today, senior MLB writer. All right, Bob, start with the Rays. 13-0 start to the season in Toronto for a weekend series. This amazing beginning to 2023, how much of this is the schedule and how much of this is just the Rays being this good?
I think the Rays be beating anybody now. It doesn't matter, what the schedule looks like. Hey, everybody's a major league team. You got to beat up those teams. So even with the schedule, you would say, okay, if they got off to an 8-5 start, that's a great start. Nobody's thinking 13-0. They're not just winning by flukes. I mean, they're just trouncing people. I think the average difference in their scores are 6.5 runs. They've outscored the opposition 101-30. Just mind-boggling what they're doing.
Yeah, it certainly is. And they didn't really change much in the offseason. I mean, Franco's finally, fully healthy, and they hope to have him for a full campaign. I mean, other than maybe Zach Eflin, I mean, what have they really added from last year that accounts for this sort of thing? Because, in the past years, it's been relying on their pitching. This year, you look up and down the lineup so far through the first 13 games, this team's hitting.
Yeah, I mean, they're healthy. They got another year of experience and all that. They had got banged up in the rotation with, Jeffrey Springs going down, Zach Eflin going down. But still, I mean, they don't have to rely on those openers anymore. That rotation is that good and that solid. Scouts raved about them this spring, saying, watch out, this might be the best race team that they've ever had down there.
That's just amazing. Could I go to the other extreme for a second? There's a chance that the A's could win less than 50 games this year. I mean, they're scary bad. Not sure what Rob Manfred and MLB can do. The team won't spend money, even though records show them making a profit, even in Oakland. What's the answer for the A's? Is it simply a new home, or is it something bigger than that?
Well, it's almost like they're not even trying to win. They're not trying to keep the stadium, up to date. It's kind of a dirty, decaying place. And all they're doing is saying, you know what? No one's going to watch us anyway. Let's just grab as many prospects as we can. And that's what they've done. So someone will reap the benefits of it one day, whether it's Las Vegas, whether it's Salt Lake City, somebody. I can't believe they'll be staying there. I think they'll definitely be moving. And in Las Vegas, as soon as someone steps up and says, we're going to build you a stadium, they're gone.
But here's the thing with Las Vegas, and here's what I have to wonder. And I've heard people suggest that maybe Vegas doesn't even want the A's. Maybe they want baseball, but maybe they don't want the A's because, look, they got the Raiders, who are sort of middle of the rung team. They're name brand. Obviously, they had some talent on that roster when they inherited the Raiders. The NHL team had success right out of the gate, even as an expansion team in the NHL. We've seen the Las Vegas Aces in the WNBA. That team's been successful. Is there something to be said for Vegas wanting a team as bad as the A's? Because it's going to be 5 years before that team is any good.
Yeah, I'm not sure it'll work. I've said that for years. The reason I say that is, Phoenix is the fourth largest city in the country and has trouble having success in Phoenix run fans. So what's going to be like in Vegas, a much smaller city, more transient city? You're going to have the casinos buy out all the suites and that sort of thing. But I just can't see all the tourists coming to Las Vegas in the summertime say, okay, I want to go watch a baseball game. They're going to gamble instead. So I wonder how it'll work there. But you're right. I mean, no one's stepping up and saying, oh, I can't wait to get the A's. I can see, NBA team, obviously, I think that would work. NHL has been a huge success. Raiders are a huge success. I'm not sure if the A's would fly.
Speaking of new homes, I'm reading all this chatter. We talked about it on the show last night about Salt Lake City. I don't get it. I mean, I've driven through Salt Lake City, spent a little time there. I don't get the love affair with Salt Lake City. Set me straight here on expansion versus relocation. And where is the league's mindset? Where's Rob Manfred's mindset on both when it comes to Tampa Bay and potentially relocating them, when it comes to the A's and relocating them, and how this all fits potentially with expansion down the line?
Yeah, it's fine for a city to say they want an expansion franchise. I mean, but I can't see it. I have never heard Salt Lake once at the owners' meetings, among owners talking, GMs, nothing. So I think the only chance they would have is relocation if the A's move there, if Vegas doesn't come through. But I can't see Salt Lake. They want expansion. 30 teams is awkward. They want 32 for scheduling. Then they're going to just completely revamp the leagues and divisions as we know it. I don't think there'll be American League, National League anymore.
Wow.
I think they'll do a complete realignment. And we're talking a good, probably 5 years minimum, if not 6, 7, or 8 years down the road. They do want to take care of the A's and Rays stadium situations first. The one team that's going to get one is, or one seed will get one is Nashville. That's number one on the wish list. I think he's definitely going to Nashville. We'll see about the second one. Montreal's on their wish list. They would love to see a second team in Canada.
Yeah, and does Tampa Bay make the most sense for them? I mean, I know there's been that link before.
They sound optimistic, and so does Manford, so the Rays owners, that they're going to get a ballpark, a new ballpark. Hopefully it's in Tampa because, it hasn't worked in St. Pete. I know people want a retractable roof and everything else, but they sound very encouraging that it's going to happen. It's a good ball team, obviously. They are starting to draw better. So I think it stays put in the St. Pete, Tampa area.
Another team struggling is the Tigers. Who knows when the pivot point is for that organization? I like a lot of the talent, Riley Green and, Spencer Torkelson was supposed to be good. He struggled last year. AJ Hinch benches Javier Baez yesterday after he didn't know how many outs there were, ran into a double play. I think they're 3-10 out of the gate. Baez struggled all of last year. What's the answer in Detroit ultimately? Is it just patience?
I think it's patience. I mean, brought in a whole new front office. I think they thought that AJ Hinch would be the magical cure. That hasn't worked out. They're playing very sloppy baseball. It's not just a bias, but go up and down. So I think it is patient. They do have a lot of nice young talent. They're in the right division. If you're going to win, you want to be in the AL Central or the NL Central. So I think it'll come one day. It's just going to take a lot more time than they expected. We'll see what happens. Baez does have an opt-out after the year. I'm sure there'll be hands and knees begging him to please opt out because he's been a disaster so far.
Talking Major League Baseball with Bob Nightingale from USA Today. World champion Astros off to a meh kind of start. I know they're without Altuve. Christian Javier's velocity is down a bit. I've heard people in Houston talking about that. Obviously too early to look at the records per se, but what are you hearing on the Astros early on in an AL West where, the Rangers and Angels are off to a decent start, the Mariners losing a lot of close games. What are you hearing about the AL West?
Yeah, I was with the Astros at their opening weekend, all the celebrations, the rings, the banner, and everything else. They're worried. Altuve is such a huge loss. I mean, this guy's a perennial MVP candidate. You lost Michael Brantley as well. No more Justin Verlander. That being said, they're still a very good team. Bregman's off to a slow start, and he's been off to slow starts before and been all right. So I think they'll be fine. It's just not a push button team by any means. I think they'll become a much better team once Altuve returns. That's not going to be until probably the 1st of June.
The team the Astros beat last year to reach the World Series is the Yankees. I think they're 8-6. Burrito got beat up last night in a big way by the Twins. Anthony Volpe's off to a slow start. The Yankees don't seem to be too concerned. Aaron Boone is preaching patience. Should the Yankees remain patient with him? Will they?
I think they'll give him extra, leeway for sure. Because nobody wants to send down, a rookie right when he gets called up, and it happened before. The kid loses confidence, that sort of thing, and it's almost like he's embarrassed. So they'll give him every chance to succeed at the plate. Yankees are a good team. I don't think they're a great team. I had, a couple of GMs told me in the spring training they predicted the Yankees would make the playoffs. I don't agree with that. But I do believe you look down talent-wise, you look at the Rays and you look at the Blue Jays, that they could easily finish third place in that division.
for our text contest coming up in just a couple of minutes. You've got, I'd say 5 more minutes if you want to get in a prediction. That's how you're entered to win. Name where you're texting from and a prediction on who is going to give me one upset for the first round of the NBA postseason. Give me your upset special for the first round of the NBA postseason. I gave you 3. I think the Lakers are going to win their series. I think the Knicks will win their series. And from a betting standpoint, the Kings are an upset because they're underdogs from a betting standpoint. But if you pick the Warriors, you also could be picking an upset there. So, conversation continuing with Bob Nightingale, USA Today senior MLB writer. I had one more question I wanted to ask him, and it's the elephant in the room when it comes to this, baseball season and where we are right now. Last one, pace of play. Basically, games are 30 minutes shorter. In that 2.5 hour range. I honestly don't like it. I was talking about with Brian Kenny. I'm not a fan of this speed baseball game. I know I'm probably in the minority on this, Bob. I don't know how you feel about it. But 1, 2, 3 innings right now feel like video game minutes to me. They're that kind of fast. It feels rushed to me. And when I see these stories about teams extending liquor sales much later into games, it makes me wonder if Major League Baseball didn't think about some of the unintended consequences of just how fast these games are when you've got teams looking at the bottom line and saying, oh, wait, we're losing this much money? That I didn't know what would be the impetus for potentially scaling back some of the time changes and the time restrictions. But it may turn out that they have to, because teams might lose so much money in revenue in food, liquor sales, all this stuff. Could it be the impetus for change in trying to stretch it out just a little bit longer next year? Or is this the new normal and get used to it?
I think get used to it. I could see him going to a 20-second pitch clock, whether nobody's on base or someone's on base. Just keep it uniform. I think the danger we have with the fast-paced games is late innings, or particularly postseason. It's like, wait a minute, we want to see that drama build. When the Trout bases to Ohtani in the World Baseball Classic, you don't want to be looking at a pitch clock or hurry up and make that pitch. You want that drama to slowly unfold. So I think that's a danger. But yeah, I mean, the games, they don't seem that much quicker when you're at them. Just then you look at your, watch at the 9th inning or so, and say, oh my God, I didn't realize the game was, this quick. In some ways, when you think about it, the pitch clock is just kind of to camouflage the lack of action in today's game. When we had 3.5 hour, 4-hour games in the steroid era, nobody complained. It felt like 20 minutes because there was so much action. Now we're not seeing much action. Seeing a little bit more with with stolen bases. But I think there was plenty of action. Nobody would care. I do think it reveals too just how much dead time there was in baseball that we really didn't realize. What was going on. The beer sills are kind of funny to me. That's how Matt Strom, the Phillies, said we should move it to the 6th inning. It would make sense if you want to for fan safety and everything else. So with the Astros now, you can drink all game long, and it sounds kind of funny, but when you think about it, these teams all go in the 8th inning. What's the next 10 minutes? So it'll be interesting to see what happens there.
Bob Nightingale, check out his work, USA Today, senior Major League Baseball writer. It's always good to talk to you, my friend. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk down the line.
All right, sounds great. Thank you, Jason.
That was my conversation with Bob Nightingale. Good to get some thoughts from him on all things Major League Baseball. We'll talk to him throughout this 2023 campaign. Is everything final in baseball? Is that a wrap? We done with the baseball tonight? Let's see here. Yep, everything is a final. Seattle held on to beat Colorado 5-3, by the way. Good for the Mariners to get a win. They've been struggling. 6-8 now on the year for the Mariners. But again, the AL West right now, wide open. Houston lost tonight at home against the Rangers 6-2. 3 Ks for Jordan tonight, too. Hit a home run, though. Jeremy Pena's only hitting 203. Yeesh. And Kyle Tucker, yeah. Yeah, that's about it. Tell you, Rangers got a nice little feel about them right now. Well, if Josh Young takes that next step, that's going to be interesting. And that team's got a really good lineup. Yeah, I agree with you. Could if the Mariners come back down to earth if the Astros come back down just a little bit, you could have a 3-way race for that division. You could wind up with a 3-way race for that division. It's not out of the realm of possibility. All right, we have put the names into the randomizer tonight, and the randomizer is going to spit out a winner. There we go. That's what I was waiting for. It is John in Dallas, Texas. John in Dallas, Texas, listening on 97.1 The Freak. He took the Warriors over the Kings as his upset. John will be reaching out to you. What now? You got to do what the game show host does. What does the guy with the big voice on every game show say? Tell him what he's won. John, you get a $25 Visa gift card. Congratulations. We'll get that out to you. I'll shoot you a text and tell you what you got to send us. So, back-to-back weeks we've given away the Visa gift card because I don't know what I want to give away from my card collection right now. That's part of the problem. I've got some stuff I'm hanging on to. So for now we're just. Oh wait. No, I can't. We were talking about this. We talked about this off the air tonight. So Jared Kelenic for the Mariners had just awful. Everybody wanted to get rid of Jared Kelenic last year after his last. He was terrible for the Mariners. Well, he went and worked on some things in the offseason, and what do you know? The one stud prospect for the Mets who's now on the Mariners, Jared Kelenic, is hitting .366. He hit his 4th home run of the year tonight. He has 7 RBIs and is one of the real bright spots for this Mariner team this year. So what did I do during the offseason after he had a terrible year? I took every single Jared Kelenic rookie card I had, and I had tons of them. What did I do? I sold them for virtually nothing to somebody. Yep. Got rid of everything. All my Kelenic stuff. And I just did the same with Joey Bart, which means if you're a Giants fan, good news, Joey Bart will probably be playing really well soon. Yeah, that's a good question. See, Brian just asked, what's that clinging going on in the background? It's my husband just with zero respect for what I do for a living. Just clanging around stuff out of the dishwasher. He couldn't wait 3 more minutes to load the dishwasher. He had to do it while I was on the air. Welcome to radio in the year 2023. No more soundproof studios. Nope. None of that. It's unbelievable. This is the world I live in. Well, no, he is not acknowledging me. No, he went and ran to the security of the boudoir because he knows I'm not happy with him right now. See, he works. It's his office during the day, and it's mine at night because he works from home and I work from home. So he gets to use it during the day and I use it at night. And if I even sneeze in the background when he's on a conference call with 4 people for his company, he loses his mind. But I'm on a radio show with a national audience every night, on in some great markets, and he could just jingle jangle anything around in the background. It just doesn't matter. See? Love and marriage go together like a horse and carriage. Nice job listening all week. We'll see you next week. I'm Jason. Bye. Nope. I'm irritated. Yeah. Hey, feel better and shoot me a text over the weekend. Let me know how you're feeling. All right? All right. Have a good night. All righty. That does it for us on the video side as well. Thank you for watching tonight. Thank you for watching all week. Thanks for listening. I'll catch you all back here on Monday. And, yeah, that's going to do it. Have a great night. I'll see you all later.